Okay,
I was like,
there it is.
all that. All right. So good afternoon, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your 1 hour lunch. It was a beautiful day outside. I hope you were able to get out and stretch your legs a little bit if possible. But we are here with the, as I quote from the feedback on the last session, the rock star, Scott Loomis, who's
I need
here
a shirt, I'll be honest.
to share with you some ways that you can use Wixie for your pre-K and K assessments. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Scott, and your turn.
Excellent. I love Wixie for this group because, the younger students are definitely at the cusp of it. Have they only been consuming technology their entire life, or have they been using it to produce or show something? And for these kids early on, it's been a lot of consumption. So now that they're starting to demonstrate their knowledge in some capacity, the question is, what can we do with them that is of value? First, before I dig into things, I really want to point out last Friday, we added an update to Wixie, as we often do on Fridays, for all sorts of, I think, from technical to little nuances. We added a new font called Open Dyslexic. I don't understand the science behind this at all, but I understand that this font is much more, hey, we got some people celebrate, much more readable for dyslexic students. Now, my oldest daughter was on the dyslexic spectrum, very light side, but she wasn't designated or wasn't identified as that. She was just a little slow until my wife, who's a language arts teacher, she's a reading specialist now, convinced the school that she should be tested for it. I would use Open Dyslexic now as your default font, because there is a chance that you have students in your class that are on the spectrum, even the light edge, that haven't been identified yet. So why not go with a user-friendly font that can address the needs of the students? And I don't understand, like, the bottoms are thicker. However it works, like I said, I don't get it. But I am a huge fan of Open Dyslexic. Amy, I appreciate you your passion here for this. And obviously, you see the value. I mean, it's easy peasy to say, okay, I got to use it because it can't hurt. Let's put it that way. So Comic Sans is gone. The other fonts I want to mention for additions is we brought in the line font and the dots fonts. So if you want to do a template with these younger kids in which they're going to use their touchscreen or whatever, Carol's already excited. And I appreciate the little things, by the way. They can, obviously you're typing in that font, it'll be the dots, and it's appropriate with the lines. So there's no stacking or things like that I think you're really going to dig. So again, that font was Open Dyslexic, and that is an open source font. It's not Wixie specific. We were able to add it, which is nice because they're making it available for students of all ranges. So now that kind of little message behind you, I want to talk about Wixie itself and using it with these students, as far as I think this is not the way to go here. And what I mean by that is there are actually two different themes in Wixie. There's a standard theme, which we're looking at, and then there's a primary theme. When I go to the paintbrush in the standard theme, I have, well, if I open up my options, 1,000,000 colors. I also have over 10 brush strokes. How many 5-year-olds need 10 brush strokes to make a project? How many of them need 1,000,000 colors? There are many different things in Wixie in which again, many extra options appear, from different patterns and spray cans to whatnot. I don't think our youngest students need these options, and that is what the primary view is all about. Now, for me, as a teacher or student or anybody at any time, you can go to your profile image, which is typically your initial up here on the right-hand side, and you can say switch themes. Now, the primary view does alter things. It also goes wordless, so to speak. There's no label with things. All the paint tools are now over here on the side. No paintbrush, actually just a pencil tool. Why? Well, there's only 21 colors, and there's no brushstroke choice. Right? Same would be true for a lot of the other tools. I was looking at the paint can before, or no, the fill bucket before. Just fill. There's no patterns. There's no gradients. There's no nothing. So I like this a lot. So the question would be is, how can I modify it for my class? It actually will take just seconds. You have the ability as a teacher of any class that you can access. So for those of you who are working in a media specialist, you could change a class when they come to you and change it back, when they leave. If you want to use this and the classroom teacher is not using the standard view, or is using the standard view, you want to use the primary. Same difference is if a class shows up with a primary view and you really want to use standard today, you can make those switches. But any class you have access to, you go to your profile icon once again and choose settings. Now, when your settings menu or window opens up, you'll see that, of course, it's your account here, which you can just change. I mean, you did already, but you change it here. But you'll notice My Classes. Now, under the My Classes thing, you could give your classes a nickname. I know sometimes the AACPS code for your class can be a little crazy. And if you are a media specialist, you might want to just name them by teachers, or whatnot. Know that the nicknames are just for you, but I encourage you still to be appropriate when you're adding nicknames for classes. Nothing too crazy there. The other thing you can do in this menu is provide access to that class to a colleague who doesn't have it. So if I was to click on co-teachers, the school list of Wixie accounts would show up here, and all I would need to do is slide. Now April has access to this class. So if I have an aide, if I have a grade level aide that maybe works with all the first grade or kindergarten, classes, we might want to provide access so that she or he can see the work and potentially assign templates to a small group that they're working with. But the big thing is they can see their work. So you don't need to talk to anyone. Don't need to talk to Carrie or me. You can share. And again, that means they have to have a Wixie account, though. That's where you would reach out to Carrie or myself. The third icon on the list is the one we're looking for. And it is the preference or controls. So when I go in to the control settings, here's the very first thing, theme. I want it to be primary and close. All my kids now have primary settings. Their theme was just switched. So again, I went to the profile icon in the upper right. I came down to settings. Within settings, I chose my classes. And under my classes, I went ahead and chose the theme. Just know that there are some other choices. One of them is collaboration. If you're concerned about kids using collaboration for no good or just why are they using it, you can turn it off until you need it. And again, that'd be for just your class, not the whole building. You can also set defaults. I mean, if you want to default right now it's to Roboto for these kids, you can set it for Open Dyslexic if you want to, for example. And then there are other things. Some people don't want spell check for their kids, for intermediate grades or whatnot. But you can look. These are nice things that would be available. Again, by making a change in this window, it affects every class in the group. And there's a language one, by the way, because you can do individual students. The program can be converted to Spanish and French, for example. And all the sticker labels, all the labels, any kind of words would be in Spanish. It wouldn't translate what they do on the page, but it modifies Wixie, the tool, to now be completely in Spanish or French. So that'd be good for your EDL. Good. So Sam got some information on that. Oh, wait. Yes, Sam, I can take care of it. Carrie can as well, either one. So now that I'm back, or now that I'm set at the primary theme, and again, my homepage just changed a bit, I will go back to my project. And as I look to add things, again, the tools are a little different. The icons are the same, but they're in different order. So I have add page up here in the kind of center section compared to the bottom left. Now, some of these may be, kind of a little difficult, so to speak, for kids. I need everyone to find the pencil tool or the microphone tool. What I love under images and stickers, I'm going to go back to home again. No words. Back out of math. Here we go. Is when I come down to symbols and icons folder, there is a Wixie folder. And in that Wixie folder are all of the more actively used icons in Wixie. To be honest, if I'm doing a recording template, I may point at the screen all the time. Hey, everyone, see this one right here, right here? Look right here, everyone right here. Or I could actually print this bad boy out and hold it up and say, okay, this is it on the page, but this is what the icon looks like. So I can make these stickers large and actually print them as a full page, or under file print, you can also do half pages. So as another visual representation for the students, because there are no words on the project, having these icons to possibly share and hold up or put on the board, as well as pointing on the screen, can make a big difference as you're developing their kind of understanding of how Wixie works. And again, that was under images. My template's been modified here, down to symbols and icons and Wixie. And under Wixie, I chose standard. Or primary. Huh, I need some more caffeine. Sorry about that. So I hope they find those to be of value. Now let's get into the good stuff. Okay. Yes, Wixie is a paint draw program. Many of you know that. It's kind of its backbone, but by no means is our paint draw program the strength of the product, or those paint draw components. Come back to paintbrush. I think many of you have seen my nature scene. Get a nice tree trunk going. The smudge tool is down here in the bottom left. It's not finger painting, but allows me to blur one color into the next. So if you've never seen it, here I'm trying to impress you. I got some roots in the ground for my tree. I love the spray can tool, and the spray can tool might be the only one option or only choice besides the shapes itself, but only tool that actually has options for the kids, because the spray can just defaults to balloons or rolling animal prints. It's actually like a roller more, or spraying confetti. But when you do the options, you do see plants, animals, transportation numbers. So if I go to plants, I can actually go ahead and take, for instance, the green leaves. I make my leaves a little bit bigger, and I can paint, leaves on the tree. So in many cases, we like to see kids spend a little less time drawing and a little more time sharing what they know. What's the lesson objective? How are they demonstrating that knowledge? And these younger students could draw the entire time. And unless the drawing is the assessment, you got to figure out a way to get their content knowledge first. And in many cases, I would like them, if they need to use existing images. And then if they finish early, to come back and modify it. And to that end, I say, kids should be using some of these stickers. Now, the nice thing about the sticker libraries is that there are well over 10,000 images in here, by the way, is that many stickers appear in multiple folders. Like, for instance, the book folders are really nice because there's these subfolders, or the book folder. There are subfolders for like Hungry Caterpillar, Brown Bear. Heck, there's even one for Elf on the Shelf and Monkeys Jumping on the Bed. Yeah, right? These are nice because they have the images, that'll apply to the book, or we've pulled images from other folders, such as food, and put them in here. If the students were looking for apple, they could just type in apple and they'd find it. And hopefully some of you are saying, oh yeah, come on, you got to be kidding me. But my 5-year-olds or 4-year-olds or 6-year-olds aren't going to be able to spell apple. So check it out. You now can search, as you have been able to since last summer, by dictation, meaning that I can say apple, click on the search, and I get apples. So if you want your kids to find specific images, and I understand this is a little bit more independent than putting on the page, they can, and they can by searching by audio. It might be easier to just draw an apple. That's fine. But again, it depends on how much time you have and what the kids are doing. I know that, we see a lot of opportunity for Wixie is differentiating by product, losing the resource sheet or the ditto and having them demonstrate the knowledge in Wixie instead. If that's the case, if the lesson objective says we're going to work on this ditto for 10 minutes, then the kids should be working Wixie for only 10 minutes. And to that end, as much as I love all the drawing, this is the most powerful tool in the program, and I think you should be using it regularly. I think a lot of you have taken advantage of the audio recording tool because users can add 1 per page and up to 5 minutes in length. Draw a picture of your family, tell me who's in it. You can go down to pets and fish and, the big tree in the front yard is considered family or whatever they want. But whatever they draw, they can then talk about. A lot of times we see teachers just doing anecdotal observations. And what's wonderful is through the audio recordings, you're now collecting artifacts. And you're actually capturing a better understanding of what they know. Or of what they know, especially as it relates to the content or explanation or description or whatnot. Retelling stories, talking about living or non-living, things that are magnetic, whatever your kind of content is. Rather them drawing a picture or you providing it and them adding an audio file can be pretty cool. One of my favorite things with the primary grades is to actually grab a picture from camera. So instead of the kids drawing their family on Wixie, they could actually draw it on a piece of paper and then take a picture of it and then add the audio recording. And this can work for anything from seasons to vocabulary to whatever. Take a picture and add the audio, right? And I love it for even any art picture they're drawn. Just, think about like Thanksgiving, things they're thankful for, or my family or whatever. Again, add an audio recording. How does the recording work? The recording in Wixie doesn't, show the microphone as much as this kind of talking icon, which is a little more universal. It is important to know that when you go to use a record feature, even such as dictate for the sticker search, if Wixie has never been used on this device before, your firewall, your basic, settings are going to require you to allow the microphone to talk to this web page. It's a one-time deal. If you allow it once on this device in your account, you don't have to do it again on this device. The allow or deny will pop up, and unfortunately, we train a lot of kids just to say no. And I'm not even sure if your kids will know what the message is and what they're clicking on. It is easier if a kid presses deny to actually have them switch devices than it is to fix the audio because it's through the control panel of your computer, not Wixie. So I would consider if your kids are brand new to Wixie to maybe do one as a group. Let them draw whatever they want for 5 minutes, and then we're going to add a recording and we're going to do it together as far as start it. So they click on the recording, they click on allow together, And then when they come back and click on the recording, they will get a 3-second get ready, and they're off. This is a picture of the spring. You know, in the spring, there's more sunlight, so the trees, they grow leaves, and the animals are super happy because they're more food. There is the ability to pause and resume. If I am having the students talk about a season, I may have on the board the 3 different things I want them to talk about in their recording: temperature, plants and environments and weather, and then maybe clothing. Right? And although I am a former elementary school teacher, I haven't taught kindergarten before. My wife was a longtime first grade teacher, so I got like a 2nd or 3rd degree of separation, but I haven't taught about it before. So however you would manage it, you can't add it as an instruction on a clipboard or something in Wixie, because when you do recordings, you can't see any other directions. So in some cases, you put what needs to happen, and the kids can pause and resume as much as they want. You hit the orange again, and you're back on talking and talking. Eventually, you're going to press stop recording, and you can listen to it and keep it, or listen to it and trash it. Even if you keep it, you can trash it from here. Now, if they accidentally trash it at that point when they were choosing keep or trash, there's no way to recover the recording because it's never been added as a component to the page. But if they delete it now, you can actually undo back to get it if necessary. So you keep it, you add it on, and you can preview it by playing this icon here, which again is a speaker icon, just like with the standard view. It's just a little cutesier, in my opinion. Okay. So what can I see things record, the kids record themselves? Of course, I can see them explaining things, describing things. You could easily do social, emotional, or even if you get into a little bit of digital citizenship with the primary students, that's fantastic. I also see it as a huge artifact collector, particularly piggybacking off of your anecdotal observations. Now, being a former teacher from Baltimore County, I'm not sure if it's just these parents up here, but let's pretend for a moment that your parents disagree with your anecdotal observation. What do you mean the kid, my child can't count to 20? They count to 100 at home. And as much as you want to talk about magic beans or water or something, it's great to have an artifact and play it. That's of the student voice. It's like, this argument is over. Here's a recording. So as much as you want to say, well, I think that's great, and they probably do, but we struggled with it at school. I have 1 or 2 examples where they get stuck in the teens, counting 1 to 20. And I can play those examples. So I was being a little sarcastic. I think the parents are questioning, what the teachers are saying more and more. And I think having these artifacts would be fantastic. So for me, if I want to do a page, I might actually just type 1 through 20. And I would assign to the kids, and they would record themselves reading. I would also do it for any type of fluency. If I'm doing words, speech, whatever, capture it. Even a sentence or 2 if you're moving that direction. By kindergarten, towards the end of the year, if they're reading, sentences, you could have them try to record themselves reading sentences, which I think would be fantastic. So I have another text object. Hello. Today is Thursday. When it comes to stickers, when it comes to text objects, you should know that this yellow microphone is a speak option. And when you click on it,
hello. Today is Thursday.
It'll read it and highlight the words. You could type in a little bit of a story on page 1, having the kids read it on their own as part of the center station, or as the class. Type more of the story on page 2. And then what do you do on page 3? Maybe they need to retell the story. So they're adding an audio recording and maybe drawing a picture. Maybe they're predicting what's going to happen next. So they're going on from there. But what I love about the text objects highlighting is you help with that reading kind of development skills. And again, with the potential with headphones or centers, you're also allowing them to move and progress at their own pace. And if a child needs to go back and listen to another one of the pages, that's fine. But you can easily set it up where, you set up page 1 and 2 to them to then demonstrate their knowledge on page 3. You'll notice there is no storyboard in this view. It's these arrows to move back and forth. So if I want to move to page 6, it's also blank. 5, 4, 3. There we go. Now I'm starting to type again. The sticker library, which I talked about the ability to sort, is pretty huge. And you know what? I've set this just open up money as an example. So I'm going to go down to project settings and actually just get it back to normal because it's driving me crazy. All right. So, and it still didn't take. No worries. Back to the top folder. As you bring in animals or bring in any sticker, I'm going to bring in an animal. I'm going to go to animals. And if you didn't notice, there was both farms here and pets, which I think we see at the primary grade. So nice. Well, let's go into farm. If you are doing a project involving sorting, maybe it's sounds, I mean, A's and B's or something, whatever you want it to be. If a child does not know what it is or just lacks the confidence to say they know what it is, and therefore they raise their hand, ask for your help, or just yell at you, hey, what is this? What is this? I can see it happen. The yellow microphone or speak icon also works for images. It'll read what it is.
Cow.
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 Cow. That's cool. So if it says something you don't want it to say, like it says birthday cake, and you just want to say cake, just know that when you select an object, and again, the choices are kind of lined up a little bit different for the primary theme. And you can create a template, by the way, in standard theme, and it'll open up in primary because the template's this here. It doesn't have anything to do with the stuff on the side. So the project's going to look the same regardless of what theme you're using on. But I think if you're modeling with the kids, you got to work on primary theme while they're in primary theme. But anyways, you select the sticker and you go to edit. You can actually go ahead and edit alt text. You can change what it says. So you could have fun with the kids. See if they're actually paying attention or anything and make it say something different.
Dog.
Don't do that. That'd be crazy. It could be a funny moment. So when I'm thinking centers, sorting and sequencing and things like that, I definitely am looking for an opportunity to, if they needed to listen to it. So the words are pretty important. And as you move towards vowel sounds and stuff, I know that's definitely in kindergarten, first grade, but as you move towards more sophisticated sounds, you know, it's a nice thing. But early on with simple vowel sounds, it can be huge. To that end, the nice thing about the centers is that we have created a whole lot that are ready to go for you. And you can see Carrie's and their group has also created a whole bunch of alphabet templates specific for Anne Arundel. But within Wixie, and I know this is a review for some of you, and actually I'm going to go to my home page, there are templates in 2 folders. There's the curriculum folder of templates, and then the templates folder of more open-ended general templates. Under curriculum, the templates are pretty clear in the lesson objective or content that it's covering. This is a clear alphabetic principle template. This is a clear number operation template. This is clear for something in like matter, you know, for instance. So these are kind of self-explanatory. You go into curriculum, you go into language arts, excuse me again, reading, and both language arts and math are aligned to the Common Core. So that's how they're sorted. For reading, you go into alphabetic principle, and there are dozens and dozens and dozens of templates ready to go. So let's say we're doing starts with B or C. When you click on an icon of a template, you have 3 choices. You can actually try it. Give it a try. Actually, you know, I don't know why teachers love to do the templates, but you can do the template. You can assign it exactly as is. Now, there are 3 different ways to assign a template as far as where you can actually find the word assign. This is obviously one of them. When you assign a template, know that you might have the option to choose classes. Like even though you're the kindergarten teacher, you may have different sections, all of the same kids or groups, or students in each section, excuse me, the groups are the same, they're just named differently. You only have to choose one of them. And for, of course, the media specialist or someone else, you have access to the whole building. So find your class. Do you want all the kids to do this, or are you doing some type of ability group, maybe specific to ELL or EDL or something like that? And then choose the dates. The first date's obviously important. It says when they're going to receive the template. Now, if today is the first day and you press save, it'll happen instantaneously. It's not like it takes overnight to process the template into the kids' accounts. However, if they're in Wixie, they may need to refresh Wixie for the template to show up. Right? So it's like they have to pop out and pop back into them that show up in their account. The last day is not really important. It defaults out to a month, but basically it says that if the template has never been opened on this date, it'll disappear from the templates. Once they open up the template, though, they get a copy, and that's theirs forever. So that won't go away. So, and the actual assignment will disappear because they already got their own version. We don't want them to keep opening up that blank template. If they are revisiting it on multiple days, they would see their copy only, not the blank template anymore. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and actually do another class I can demonstrate. Today's the first day, and press save. And what I absolutely love about assigning in Wixie, and I'm going to just talk about how you really want to look in that direction, is that when a student logs into their Wixie account, it is the first thing they see when it's an assignment. There's no click here, or go find this. It's there it is. Now, a couple of things I need to talk about. Like I said, I know that many people in the group are familiar with Wixie, but it is important, especially if you're watching the video or are new to the program and you're here or, again, watching it. There is no save button in Wixie. Old dogs like me think that's crazy. We used to save and save often. We used to put timers on the board for kids to save every 5 minutes because inevitably, Carrie's laughing, the world's going to end and we're going to lose it and people are going to start crying because some technical glitch. Wixie saves every 15 or 20 seconds all by itself. Second, the work the students do is made automatically available to the teacher every 15 or 20 seconds. So there's an auto Dropbox. I can't even begin to imagine the process of telling 25-year-olds to click here, and press save so I can see your work. That sounds like misery. Again, a tear fest in many cases. They get excited about the computer, they're having fun. All the kid does is do their work, and then they can log out. They can click the X, or I like to try to get kids in the habit of actually going to log out, which would be under your profile icon, and then down to log out. So again, auto saves, auto out. They don't have to do anything else but work. And that's where Wixie's strength in places like centers or differentiating by product in a lesson really is strong. I said our strength and strong, but the fact that you can be very efficient with your use of Wixie. You're in quick, you're out quick, maximize time producing a product for the students. So I'm going to log out, log back into my account. And on the other side, I talked about the use of the templates, very broad stroked. We don't know, like I used to do Explorers when I taught 5th grade. I don't know if anybody does Explorers anymore in elementary school, but we did Explorer cubes. Here's the cube template. Is this for Explorers? Is this for a character from a novel? Is this a randomizer with 6 letters on it? We don't know what you're going to do with it. So it's these type of templates. You'll see these very open-ended that show up under the templates folder. Templates folder does have some cool stuff. I think under general, primary teachers may find a lot of things they like. Not backgammon or Connect 4, but you may find like a snow globe design, or you may find a game board or things like that. There's a lot of portfolio templates and things like that. But, snow globe, you got a lot of opportunities with younger kids to do something in there. So I love those as well. Curriculum also has a couple of their folders, including digital citizenship and social emotional, that can be pretty big. Right? And these are talkies. We're going to talk about those just in a second briefly, but talkies are animated GIFs that the kids can add recordings to. So if, again, controlling emotions, being a student, angry monster, the kids can control or record what they're upset about. Calm monster, strategies for being calm. Here's a happy monster. Let's open it up just so you see it. And click on the text box. And what's wonderful about putting in instructions, which I'll also talk about, is the kids can play and have you say the directions. Or if you don't record yourself reading the direction, the computer will read the text. So again, I can play it, listen to it.
Click on the text box.
I'm going to pause it right there. Fantastic. So take a look at the templates. They are great as is, or allow you to customize a little bit for the needs of your students. Reflection projects, it kind of goes on and on. Fantastic. Oh, and month by month, great primary folder. You're always going to be able to get something seasonal. So we got some leprechaun stuff, compound words. I know this is, there's coloring a duckling. That's not terrible. Easter basket counting. Oh, let me look that. And again, the directions aren't on the page, which I love. It gives them more space. So 1 blue candy, 2 red candies. And of course, you got to try it. All right, 1 blue. And Wixie doesn't provide instant feedback, by the way. A lot of research suggests kids won't even read directions. They click and drag till it sticks, or applause or fireworks or something. So again, those are there. So anyways, I like the month by month for primary grades. You get some seasonal stuff in that, kind of reinforces skills that you've done in the past or are new for this month. So eggs, coloring, pattern extension. There's always a pattern extension. Was that up top? No, that's a like Sudoku type thing. Pattern extension. Don't hold me down. There we go. There's some type of pattern. Okay. Signs of spring. There's your pattern extension. St. Patrick Days. Sorting by shapes. So attributes. We go. United States and Ireland comparison. All right. Good enough. So month by month, my favorite. You're going to be really lame if you let this one go. Under November, there's a cornucopia in which kids put things they're thankful for. They can rather draw and or just put a bunch of stickers in it, but then add that audio recording saying what they're thankful for. Their parents will freak, right? It's important to know too that you can share a project with your colleagues and or mom and dad. Mom and dad can access the kid's account too, but by simply copying the URL and emailing it to someone. The same works for your students, although there's a security code involved, and I'll show you. But your kids could bring in draw a picture of a birthday cake, your students or your children, and sing "Happy Birthday, Grandma" and email it to Grandma. And Grandma doesn't need Wixie to see it. It's just a viewer. You just view and listen to it. You don't do anything. You just get to watch it. So really neat things you can do, and which also could have some use outside of the classroom, for personal, for fun or things like that. So there are the different things, under curriculum and templates. And again, don't hesitate to share. I think of doing centers with the projects. If you've created a center template, I don't have any samples, so here it is. I'm going to just create a new one. When I do a center template, I, again, can easily email my link to my teammates. And ideally, they're doing one too, and they can easily email it back to me.
And Scott, they actually have access to their school folders, and they're able to add to a school folder to share with their teammates as well. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when you see a template from your teachers that you email, you need to go and log into your account, and then under File, select Make a Copy. So you get your own copy. And I have a little super short video on how to do that under my Did You Know videos. But, being able to email it or put in the school folder, whatever. I mean, this way, if maybe they work in another building that you used to teach at and you're still close friends with that kindergarten teacher or media specialist, share them is really easy as well. The next thing I want to talk about, and it's going to kind of pertain both to project ideas and to your centers option, is the ability to use magic stickers. Now, magic stickers are not available in the primary view. It's a little bit more of a sophisticated tool. And really, it's hard for them to, I don't see kindergartners or pre-K kids creating projects involving talkies or magic stickers. But I can see teachers creating one that they then assign. So I'm going to return to the standard view to open up our widgets folder, which includes these magic stickers. Now, we've been talking a lot lately, or there's kind of a new buzz on the authentic task or the authentic assessments for students. I have to admit, I'm not a big fan of kids doing the exact same template. I need everyone to put 7 teddy bears on this picture. And then on page 2, I want you to put 3. The fact that they're the same for everyone as the assessment, like I said, I'm not too hot on. I think there's a lot of looking over, getting help from your neighbor or whatever. The drill is the exception to it. Let's all do this together. I think that's important. So instead of typing, and bringing in a teddy bear, and I'm going to bring in not a video, which I love to. I'm going to bring in a bear. Let's bring in a teddy bear. Teddy. There's a teddy bear. I'm going to bring in a teddy bear. Now, you should know that you have a number of things you can do with this to modify the template to make it easier for kids to use. And to that end, I'm specific to saying, if there's a way to mess up a template, that there's a kid that just wants to mess it up. Mr. Loomis, all my stickers disappeared. Well, that's because, the eyes blink on the teddy bear. That's cool. I didn't notice that. That's because the kid deleted them on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Ignore the eyes blinking. Carrie, you're killing me here. So when I go to the edit, again, you got to select the teddy bear. When you go to the edit menu, there's actually a lot of things you can do under properties, edit properties, to modify this teddy bear. I don't want them to be able to resize it. This is really good for like base 1 blocks or Unifix cubes. They're almost impossible to move because the handles are on the edges. So you can say, don't scale it. It's fixed size. Okay, that's good there. But they can still delete it. What if I want to make it so they can't delete it and can still move it around? Go back to the edit menu, to properties. You would check protect. Protect says, okay, this can't be deleted. It can only be moved and listened to.
Teddy.
What if I can't resize it? What if I'm doing like a Venn diagram? Oops, come on, Teddy. Away. Oh, you know what? I don't know what just happened. If I was to go to edit, and now I can't select it, I think, there's something going on today. If I go ahead and bring in maybe a non-blinking teddy bear, if I want to, I can also lock something. Properties, lock. This makes it fixed on the page, and the students cannot move it. You can also, when you have an object, I'm going to select it, delete, you can also glue it to the page to paint on it. But gluing is a permanent thing. It's like converting it to pixel dots. So that the shape itself has disappeared. Now it's just an image that is attached to the paint layer. If you just want to lock it so you can potentially unlock it later, You can fix it by choosing, again, properties and lock. And the last one, which would go back to my idea of put 7 teddy bears on the page, is to clone it. So if it's me, I'm going to lose scale, edit, I'm going to protect, and then clone. And now I have a never-ending stash of teddy bears that come off. And each one comes off with the same properties of no delete, no resizing, no whatever. If they double up, I tell them sometimes to stack the teddy bear in the corner. And sometimes I'll put the teddy bear like maybe over here, move this guy out of the way, and I'll draw, I can use lines or the shape tool. I'll draw a little box. So I know this one doesn't count as 7. You need to do your rest out of the page. So this way, if kids do too many, they can drag them and just drop them back in the box. So now that I kind of have this going for me, and I know that I want to do a clone activity, if I clone that teddy bear, actually, I can go back. I can't delete those, though. I want to delete them. If I clone the teddy bear, and we're just going to say this is cloned, do I really want everyone to have the exact same quantity? Well, this is where our magic stickers can come into play. Edit magic stickers, and lo and behold, there's a nice math folder. Now, the math folder is great. I mean, here's a random dice. You click on it, it changes. This one will change between 1 and 6. So if you're doing touch counting or whatnot, the kids, it'll randomize when they open up the page. It'll be different for everyone. Of course, if it's 1 through 10, barely there's going to be a couple similarities as far as kids in class. But like, here's the number 1 through 10, or 0 through 9. Excuse me, not even 10. So if I put this on the page and I say, put this, whatever you want to say, you basically need to show or put 3 teddy bears below the line or something like that. When the students go to it and they come to this page, that number changes. For them, it locks. If they go to page 2, like you're doing a couple different pages, and then come back to page 1, it'll still be locked for them. For us, it actually randomizes every time that we go to it. But this way, you're creating an assessment that is unique for each student, in which they can't bum the answer off a neighbor or look for help. Invariably, they need to start taking responsibility for what they want to show, their knowledge, their activity. They can't just skid by, but actually have to show it. And I think that we see a lot of that. I've always said I'm not a big fan of, projects that all look the same, maybe display in the hallway, because I don't know if the kids are learning anything or they're actually being told what to do, or in some cases people do it for them just to get it done. So I like the randomizers. Other things you can see under the randomizers, and again, I'm going to come back to math really quick. You got those 0 through 5, you got 10 dots, base 10s, fractions, and then a 5 frame and 10 frame as well. We come over to the clicks, and it's a head or tail. It's a number. Okay? Or even something as simple as a timer. I want to put a 30-second timer on here. So as much as I try, by the way, when I click on something, nothing happens to that magic math sticker. It will when I show. So if I show this part, kind of like a GIF and a PowerPoint, right? So when I get here and click on it, it'll start to count down. Okay? However, I might want to do other things as well. So when you have a timer or any magic sticker, if you want to activate it without showing it, you select it and you lock it down. So if you're taking notes, that's a note. Select the magic sticker, press lock, and now it's enabled the product so that anytime you click on it, it'll work. So there's the countdown. I can click and stop. Oh, I can't stop it. It's going. I like the magic, like the dice I talked about, or the counter. Let's just do a single 1 counter. The kids could actually maybe make a tally chart. And in order to do that, they need to draw. So the show really doesn't work. So I would select it. I would lock it. Click randomized and potentially do a tally chart. Back to the arrow, randomize, potentially do a tally chart. Right? So something like that. The other ones, just to kind of round it out, we do have spinners. So like 1 to 6, the color ones don't have any numbers in them, but 1 to 6, 8, 10, 12, up to 24, 20, 24, cancel. And then, I could have just stayed there. We do the spinners, math, dates and times, even music and place pitches. The neat one that we see more and more are the talkies. Now, although we may see students adding talkies, there we go, we got a love already. We may see talkies by the students in older grades making them on their own or using them on their own. This is a neat way for you to potentially add instructions and or have the kids record themselves on a talkie. So if I bring in, for instance, an animal, and I bring in a grumpy alligator. So with a talkie, you can actually do speech to text, which is always available under a text object, by the way. there's always this, speech to text. Hello, my name's Scott. I'm an alligator. Leave me alone. So I can always do that with a text object. I can then have it read to
Hello,
me.
my name is Scott. I'm an
You guys got that. If the child doesn't want to do their own voice, again, the options for a talkie, they could actually do speech to text. Hello, my name's Scott. I'm an alligator. Choose a voice. This didn't work last time, so we're going to see. That's the speed. Choose a voice, which includes British ones. And I see that? No, I didn't. I don't know why the talkie won't play through the Google Meet. So we got to figure it out. But it does the text object, which blows my mind. It's just the talkies. So the other thing you can do with talkies, however, is do a recording. So instead of the kids, their own voice. 3, 2, 1, just like a regular recording. Hello, my name's Scott, and I'm an alligator. Keep it. And when I press try it. Hello, my name's Scott, and I'm an alligator. Now, what's really cool about our talkies is it's not this. We actually take a look at the sound wave, and as the wave gets bigger and wider and smaller throughout the message, that's the length of the mouth. So the mouth open and closes based on what's recorded. It's super sweet. It's not that blabber thingy. Students, and what's wonderful about the talkies, that users such as yourself can add more than one per page. So it isn't just the one recording per page. It'll play comic book style, top to bottom. If there's a tie, it's left to right, but top to bottom. I see you creating templates for students that involve 2 talkies. And let's just bring in the B for the other one. Again, I want the B to rotate, so I have those options for looks. I want to flip them. There we go. He's the other way now. I am going to add a recording talkie, making some statement or asking some question. We're going to train the kids to click on it and add a recording answering it. Boy, isn't it a lovely day? Or I guess I'm trying to think of something more specific. Do you know anything about? Or maybe it's behavior. I'm so sad. I don't know what to do. And the kids will do a response from the other person, or the other talkie. I think you probably can think of better ideas of things you might be able to say. And if you have one, type it for me to help me out. But basically, you can make a statement in which the kid has to respond. And again, what's wonderful is they're quite varied in their responses, but they all hopefully are moving in the same direction based on the expectations. If that unit, social emotional is a little broader, which is why I talk about that. But I hope you see the value in doing that. You also could give instructions to students through a talkie if you wanted to. And anytime they need to rehear the instructions, they can click on the talkie and they'll say it. So you could easily go, not with an animal, but come down here and choose like a microphone or crayon. Crayon's giving directions. I like that one. Microphones, pencil, monster. That's a crowd favorite. Even a number that talks, number 1. Earth, sunshine, you name it. Have all sorts of fun with it. So you could get those as well. And yes, the eyes will blink. Microphone Mike, who's my personal favorite, because he's got it going on. He will blink, and his mouth is a little more pronounced when you're doing a recording than the alligator. Along the same lines of having the talkie in to built in a little bit of, again, getting the kids straight to what they know instead of having to draw stuff, you may need to get in the habit of assigning blank pages for kids to draw pictures and do projects. Why would you not type the directions on the page? Because I think you're taking up their workspace. By giving them all of the space on the page, you can actually use the clipboard or instructions. And in the primary theme, it showed up here in the upper left-hand corner because you can type instructions in here. And check it out. This is a 5-minute recording. Now, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's post-COVID. I don't know if it's just the way kids are today. It's one of those head scratchers, but kids seem, and it's always been there, but it seems to be expanding. They're not listening to anything the teacher says. Like, hey, folks, we're going to work in Wixie today. Folks, more like 5th graders. And I need you to do this, this, and this. And you spend 3 or 4 or 5 minutes talking about it. And the kids, what do I do again? What do I do it again? It's like, oh my gosh, please, it's trying to do now. So I love doing the recordings because you can, up to 5 minutes, you can add all the information you want for the kids to do here. And if ever they have a question, they just need to listen to the recording again. My wife's a reading specialist in Baltimore County, and she was working with 3rd graders, and they fit the T to my description. And one of the little boys was so giddy. He goes, this is amazing. If I don't know what to do, I could just click on you and you'll tell me. It's not like she reviewed it to start with, but It's dawning on him that, oh, I don't have to listen. I can do this. And this is actually kind of nice because I don't have to ask you questions. So you may get in the habit of doing the instructions. The big thing you have to remember, though, is when you use instructions, you want to open to instructions. Because if not, they're going to open to a blank page. And they, of course, they're going to wait patiently to figure out what to do, right? Being a little sarcastic here. But the nice thing about opening to instructions is then this is what will appear on the right-hand side. Okay? If you don't record yourself, again, it will read the instructions. The computer will read it. So let's say your kids are doing a literature project or doing something. It could even be Father's Day or Mother's Day. Could be something seasonal. But I think a literature, like the books that repeat, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Brown Bear, Hungry Caterpillar. What if your class created a second chapter to that project? And you, the teacher, wanted to put them all together into one class project. Old school Wixie had you add one at a time. Oh my God, that was so hard. New Wixie, which has actually been around for over a year now, I think this is from last summer, allows you to choose the activity and select them all and insert it or import them into a project. It takes like 30 seconds. The most important part of a class project assignment is that they all have the exact same title name, because you want to be able to do a search for one title and match them up. Another advantage of assigning a blank page with the title that you want. So if it is Hungry Caterpillar, Brown Bear, whatever. Give it a title, add the instructions, you can assign it. When you're ready to look at student work, regardless of how it's been done or centers or whatnot, you would simply click on the Students tab, which I think I talked a little bit because it's similar to the Assignments tab. Go to your class and then click on a project. You have the ability to listen to any recordings. This time they're narrating the story. This is off the book Things That Are Most in the World. It's a superlative book, the stickiest, the biggest, the tallest, whatever. As a teacher, I would always mark it as complete. It's like turning it in. They can't change it anymore because you want them to use it at home. You don't want them to mess up any work. Because the last thing you want is to show it to mom and dad in 2 weeks at a parent conference and they mess it up. And then to leave a comment or feedback. If you love the sample so much, you want to copy forever, like your own copy. Even if they go to another school or state, leave the district, or go to middle school, this would be your own copy that you would find, lo and behold, under your showcase. So you could show this to next year's kids. You would add it to your showcase. What if I wanted to get all of the kids' project together? And that's where I was leading. So I'm going to go back to Nina here. Which you can at any time because projects show up chronologically, most recent to oldest. I can search actually and say, especially if they do a lot of gibberish on their own, search by project name. So although I could type out Things That Are Most in the World, I know it's the only most file in their work. So I'm going to type in most, and each kid only shows the most file. Just like you do for regular grading if you want to, kind of simplify the chaos if there's a whole lot of stuff. And I have, again, in my Did You Know playlist on YouTube, you can also find the link in my email signature, the step-by-step processes. It basically works left to right. Search for it, show all the projects from your class. There's the whole class. That was this triple head icon here. Step 2, select them all, because you can actually unselect here if you want to, but I want to select them all. Step 3, so search, show all, 3-head, select all, checkbox, and then that little, I think you see it there, it shows up right beside it. An upload button shows up. Now, do you want this to be a book template? Do you want to throw it into a book template? Just know projects get reduced when they go into a book template to fit the space. So although there's very appropriate opportunities, I'm going to shy away from it because I'd rather just have the Wixie project. So when you click project, give it a name, Things That Are Most in the World, I would change it. Create it. Kind of put your hands up for a second. And after it's done, it's going to say, do you want to view this right now? Do you want to publish it or share or things like that? But essentially, it's going to be a file in your My Projects. And I'm going to say, and you can add to your showcase straight away or share it, media. I'm going to go to Open Projects, and here it is. So when I come back to my home page, you see the file is right there under, My Projects. Here it is, Projects That Are Most. So I'm going to open it back up. I probably need some title screen. I do know that number 8 is the end. The saddest thing in the world is the end. The whole class reads it. It's kind of fun. I can click and drag this to the bottom. So now, it's number 9, and I have my project. And the easiest way to send it to parents, because you don't need a security link to your file, is the URL. But if the students go to share it, and you go to sign in a share, you could actually send it via email in which the link and the security code would show up as well. And that's something with student privacy. The other cool thing you can do if you're really jumping is to export as a QR code and display it somewhere, in the hallway, in a newsletter or whatever. And with advanced, I had opened up File, Share Advanced, the QR code. And I'm running out of time here, but you could do a QR code. We see, and you can easily display these in the hallway too. My family, it could all be a mom and dad clicking with their phone, and the kids are talking about everybody in their family, and they open it up. For the older kids, like a library media specialist, and this is out of Wycomico County, the kids did book talks or book trailers. Why do you want to read this book? And she printed them as QR codes, and then she glued them on top of the green screen. You could do all of this in Wixie, but she stacked them differently. And then she displayed them. And eventually, some kids started making bookmarks because they wanted to do it too, even though they weren't in third grade who did this. So the librarian was like, any book that doesn't have a bookmark, you can make one. So the kids were doing reviews, not spoilers, but reviews on why you want to read it. So anyways, I'm a big fan of that. The last project I want to show you, and possibly the most important, although ridiculously old school, is a mentality I hope you move towards adopting when it comes to using Wixie. This is a sample under month by month October. And the kids are asked to move body parts to the right spots. And I'm going to switch themes to the right spots. And it's kind of easy. This is the head. This is the mouth, whatever. Know that Wixie does not provide instant feedback. Again, research shows they're really they don't even read directions. They move and move and drag until, like I said, it sticks or pauses or whatever. The teacher transitioned by saying, I'm going to let you draw monsters in Wixie, and you can make them look any way you want. And the kids are like, yeah, this is awesome. This is awesome. And then for second grade, this is pretty cool. The kids are excited. She has the kids go to the second page of the template because they did the first page together. And she said, your monster can look any way it wants as long as it has these geometric shapes. I love self-check or self-paced checklists because then they can go ahead and do some early finisher things. The kids are going to move between page 3, which was blank, to then draw their monster, and page 2 and cross stuff off as they go. Now, I don't know how you can word it, but again, you're looking at kids to create something unique. So all the kids went and did a monster. They had 15 minutes. Now, this is my daughter's monster. I usually get some oohs and ahs, but I know this is virtual, so you can't do it. She's actually did this with her second grade. When she was a second grader, she's her second year teaching up in PA now. So she's better. This is a little old of the file, but you need to realize two things is A, there wasn't another monster like this in the class. If you are having your kids do an authentic assessment, you are embedding in creativity, looking at engaging or retaining student knowledge, cookie cutter templates are not the answer. I think I cringe if I walk into a hallway and see 26 Thanksgiving turkeys that all look the same on the wall. Again, I don't know where the learning was. Maybe a pattern feather combination would have been better or something. Creativity, again, no other one in the class like this. That's why I like the randomizer with the numbers. At the time, her kindergarten sister had not done Wixie. We hadn't done Wixie. Daddy hadn't been into her class yet, so she wanted to do Wixie. So we made one. And again, how many of you have seen a triangle sun before? How many of you have seen fish for fingers in your monsters? Again, color outside the line. Put craziness on your page. Be very clear, even with these younger kids. This is what you have to do, and this is, how long you have to do it. If they don't finish in time, and if you don't focus on content first, draw second, you're going to be, the kids are likely playing with the draw tools, not demonstrating or producing. And that's the big thing. If I have them draw a picture of a scene or of their family, do I want them to record it first or draw first? Of course, if they're drawing a picture of their family, they need to draw that first. But if they're doing something in the story, beginning, middle, and end, maybe I'm having them record what happened in the beginning and record what happened before they draw. Because I can grade the recordings without a drawing, but I can't grade a drawing without a recording in many cases. So you really need to balance are they just playing for fun or are they actually showing something? And in many cases, that means you got to lead with something like a recording option. And that's why I like to shy away from the typing. I just don't think it's a big thing. But again, get that content knowledge as quick as possible and let them draw their hearts out to their heart's content after that. So again, I love the open-ended creativity from here. A link to the exit ticket has been placed by Carrie. Please take time, got to get credit and know that you're just not folding laundry at home if you're there.
I don't know. I could do some laundry folding. I
always do laundry
in my
folding.
house, yeah.
And the last thing I'm going to do is put up my contact information. Sorry, Carrie.
No, you're good.
I meet with individual teachers or teams of teachers all the time. Where'd my contact form go? Oh, here it is. If you have a calling, you're a speech therapist, for instance, I think they should be using the video tool all the time to record kids talking for the lip movement. And that was the adding the video, which is here. If you are a library media specialist and you think your kindergarten A teacher or the team would really benefit from them, I do these virtual meetings. If they're brand new to the program, that can take up to 30 minutes, but usually I have conversations about what to do, like ideas for the next science unit, and those are meant to take 10 or 15 minutes. I call them helpings. And if you are looking for ideas on what to do with different grade levels, know that under lesson ideas, homepage, lesson ideas, bottom left, that there are tags for each grade level. And kindergarten alone, there's even a pre-K there, we will see, and these are like observation quality lessons, links to templates, objective connections as far as standards go. There are dozens and dozens and dozens. My guess is probably about 50 or 60 ideas for kindergarten use here. So if you're looking for something, if you're an e-coach and you're trying to encourage the use, just send these links and have them take a look and possibly see if anything resonates and there's anything you do to help them implement that. But adaptation in tall grass, let's see that. Okay. Kindergarten. Here's the template if you want it. And that's actually the gist of this one. It's just the template. Some of them will have that lesson objective in it. There we go. There's engage. There's create. There's share. And there's everything else. And with that, I really am going to stop talking.
Well, thank you so much, Scott. As always, we appreciate you joining us for our eCoach Days. Some great ideas there. As always, Scott certainly is available for help. Know that, of course, Sam and I are also available. We do have sub money, just throwing that idea out there. But we are certainly willing to come out and do collaborative planning sessions with the primary teams as well, if you would like. So lots of options that you can use. I did drop that attendance link in the chat. So if you would please take a moment to fill that out before moving on to your next session, that would be greatly appreciated. And with that, then you all are free to go over to session number 4 and have a good rest of the afternoon.
You're welcome, everybody. Bye, Amy. Have
Thanks,
a great
Scott.
day. No worries. A lot of power users. I hope they picked up something new. And you want to stop recording when you get a chance.
Yeah, I think honestly, one of the biggest ones that a lot of people I find